Hey, thanks for tuning in. I'm out here on a Friday morning. It's rained all week. This is the first major cold snap. It was in the upper 30s, lower 40s this morning when I left the house. Fishing's gonna be slow, I'm pretty sure. I'm still gonna start out with the top water just to see. More than likely, I'm gonna have to throw a worm or a jig and fish slow. I made a critical mistake this morning. I forgot my gloves. So my hands are very cold. I'm seeing some bait, schools of bait. I've noticed the last few times I've been out up here in the creeks on the north end, there's more and more bait showing up, which is good. Stripers will be following. Water temperature set it was 63.7. That was terrible. All right. I didn't think so, but it's always worth trying. By the way, these lure wraps, if you're fishing with a bait that's got treble hooks, these lure wraps go on, protect keep your hooks from getting tangled and everything. They're pretty handy. It may take a while for me to figure something out here today. Yeah, I just have a feeling they're gonna want something very slow. Which would mean a worm or a jig for me. Start off with the jig. Oh boy. It's a good fish. Ooh. Oh boy, I guess so. I should have netted that one. That's what the jig will do for you right there. Nice big fish. That's 3 pounds, maybe a little bigger. Nice fish. That fish was warm. That's a good sign. That fish was pretty aggressive, really thumped that jig. Now at some point here, this fall, they're gonna start schooling up and ganging up together. I'd like to find that today, but don't know that I'm going to. Now I fished that same area with my top water, with my hair jig. You just gotta figure out what they want on a certain, every day might be something different, but they usually can't turn down a crawdad meal. They're thinking, man, I don't have to expend very much energy and I can get a big meal here. So I'm on a point in the back of a creek. Golly. Boy, that fish was really chewing on it and I didn't get him. So I noticed at the boat ramp there was only myself and one other truck. A lot of people don't want to come out when the weather's like this, but I catch a lot of fish in foul weather like this. Oh, boy. Fish was swimming at me. That's a decent fish. Interesting. I think that was the fish I missed. So I'm on to something now. The jig is the key today. So when fishing a jig, there's a million different colors you can use. I pour my own heads. If you can see my skirt, it's kind of green pumpkin with blue in it, almost striped looking. And I use a chunk style trailer this time of year especially. I pretty much paint all my heads green pumpkin for the most part, and then I just change the color of the skirt. I like to keep things simple, so I don't, I got a few lures that I like to use. The wind is really going to be a factor today. So there's going to be some wind noise on this video, unfortunately. Always a good idea to retie when you're fishing a jig like this out here on Lanier and, just crawling it through the rocks, because it will, get your line kind of nicked up. Now, there's a point straight ahead here. I'm fishing down the side of the point, working my way up to the point. Oh boy, it's a good one too. Man, it's another good one. Good fish. Wow. That fish, I started to reel it up, and I felt a tick. So I let it drop back down, and then I felt the thump. It's a good fish too. And all three fish that I've caught so far this morning have been relatively shallow. All right, I'm gonna go to the next point. What I'm doing is simple. I'm just in the back of a creek, going from point to point, throwing a jig. There's no need to make it any more complicated than it needs to be. So you can see this point right here. And this is a shallow point. But I've caught fish here before, so. Boy, it's another solid fish, another good one. Largemouth this time. I'm telling you, the jig is a good option any time you fish, but especially in these post-cold front conditions where fishing is just off, slow. They just can't resist that jig, crawling right in front of their noses. Oh, I didn't get him. Man, I just didn't get a good hook set on him. Darn it. He took it and ran, and I just couldn't catch up to him. Man, that hurts. There's a fish here. He just must not be very big. Yeah, it's bigger than I thought he was. Another largemouth. You know what? That's not a bad largemouth either. The wind is really starting to come up. Which is okay. Boy, it is chilly. We got a cold wind blowing. Oh. There he is. Oh boy. Oh, it's a big old spot. Come on, let me get you. There we go. Look at the size of that one. It's a football. Wow, nice fish. Okay. I'm running low on my trailers, so I'm going to doctor this one up and make it work. Man, that was a good one. I was moving it along, all of a sudden just thump, that was it, and then I didn't feel anything. Oh, there he is. You got it? Well, there was something chewing on it. So the pattern the last few times I've fished has been throwing a jig. You know, you got to fish it slow. Boy, that was a nice one. Wow. The jig does produce big fish. It is a big fish bait. The good thing about this kind of fishing, it makes you slow down. I haven't used any gas. I'm still on the back of the same creek I started in. I'm just taking my time, you know, really picking apart these points. There's a rock ledge or something on this point I can feel. It's either that or maybe pretty sure it's a rock ledge of some sort, because my jig gets kind of stuck on it every time I cast out there, and that's where these fish are laying. This kind of fishing isn't specific to Lake Lanier. Any lake that has bass in it will eat a jig. In the colder months, the jig that's my favorite time to fish it, when it's cold. A big fish, whatever it is. Holy smokes. He had me wrapped up in a tree to begin with. This is a giant. Oh man. Oh, oh. Look at that monster. That's got to be 4+. Just a monstrous fish. Monstrous fish. Beautiful. Jeez. Wow. checking my line after that one. Wow, what a fish. Holy smokes. Wow. Whew. Man, it's one thing I love about fishing a jig. You just never know when you're going to catch a giant. That was a big fish. That was a big spot. Oh, was that a good fish. Actually, every fish I've caught today, except for maybe one, has been pretty decent. I can't believe the size of that fish. Wow, what a fish. Man, you gotta love it. Gotta love it. I just pulled up on another point here, and this is really not the best point. You know, it's got some wind blowing up on it. I didn't even feel that fish bite. It just, all of a sudden, I saw my line move. Oh, it's always an adventure. It's really a simple lure, just a bass jig. I do want to let you know, blue in the skirt, blue strands of blue color in the skirt makes a difference. I've got to get some more poured and tied and painted here. I'm getting a little low. You will lose one once in a while when you're, you know, dragging it through these rocks. Your line gets scarred up. A little smaller, but I'll take it. Definitely not the easiest fishing conditions. I enjoy fishing stuff like this. Wind, and it's a challenge to figure them out. All right, thanks for watching. It's a cold, raw, windy day. It's really our first major bit of cold weather, but the old jig did the job today. All I do is go to the back of the creeks on the north end of the lake. I look for points, and I just slowly drag my jig over the rocks and stumps and whatever I can find, and I, you know, the jig catches big fish. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. It helps my channel. Just click the button and come back and fish with me next time.